All right, we should be on live. Let me double check. Have a refresh our screen. All right, we're gonna start in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Do you have a drink near you? Like
A little bit of water, yeah.
Okay.
I've been talking earlier this morning, so I'm good.
Yeah, so since it's my first time, I didn't put it out too much.
Oh wow.
I know.
You're going to do great. I mean, you were phenomenal yesterday. You really were.
Thank you.
You have a really good personality that comes across to people, so you'll be fine.
All right. Well, we got 1 more minute, and we're going to start whether I hear back from her or not. I don't know if she can see us yet, but we're going to just get rolling anyway. On time.
That's right. I like working with you.
So do you see me on your screen? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
They can see and hear us. Awesome. All right. Okay. This is a little different for me. So I can't see myself, but I can see you. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. Yeah, we're on time. So I want to welcome everyone who joined us today. Welcome to the first webinar in a series of conversations called Unleash Your Greatness for Women in Business at Home. Now, on this particular segment, I have a special guest with me today, Mr. Barrett Matthews. And for those of you who don't know me or who are not familiar with me and this is your first time logging on, my name is Aisha Floyd. I am creator and founder of Success Blueprints Digital Marketing, where we help position women in business and women who want to be in business, how to position themselves. We teach them how to position themselves online for business success. We offer trainings, workshops, we offer programs, and live events to support women in their business growth process. I'm also a best-selling author of the book, Wealth Through Automation, Your Step-by-Step Guide to Creating a Life-Changing and Lucrative Online Business. All right, so the topic for today's webinar is called 7 Keys to Leadership Development for Women in Business at Home. Now, the women who have the desire to be in business at home are somewhat of a special population in my eyes. These are women who may or may not have come directly from the workforce, or they're women who have been at home for a very long time, whether it's someone who's a homemaker, a housewife, a stay-at-home mom, a woman in healing, a widow. There's a pretty large segment of women who are actually at home and who may have the desire to be in business, or who are already in business and not really happy with their business situation. So that's what we're here for. And today's discussion is all about leadership development in that area. And I have my very, very special guest here with me today, Mr. Barrett Matthews, who is author of the book called Why Didn't You Get It Done? And also another book called 50 Shades of Wealth. I got that right, Barrett? All right, good. Good. So I want to take a few minutes to let you introduce yourself to everyone, and I'll share a little bit about who you are and what you're all about.
Well, first, Aisha, I want to thank you for honoring me by letting me be a part of this. It's a great, great pleasure, great joy to share and impart what I have lived and what I've worked with your audience. So I want to thank you for that. As she said, my name is Barrett Matthews. I'm a leading productivity and profitability coach. What I do is I help you to move from procrastination to productivity to profitability into excellence. That's what I do. The easiest way to describe it is to understand that what you do right now in your daily life, most people procrastinate 218 minutes a day, which is 55 days a year. Mm-hmm. That, if you equate that to $10 a minute, you've wasted $120,000 a year. Mm. Wow. So imagine taking that money, doubling it, but putting it back into your pocket. That's what I do. So I show you how to take that and put it back into your pocket for the same time that you've actually wasted. So as she said, I'm the author of the book, Why Didn't You Get It Done? My subtitle is A Guide to Helping You Get Off Your Assets. And also I'm the author of the book, 50 Shades of Wealth, The Allure of Success. So what I do is I work with people on helping them to be more productive in their lives and helping that turn into more profits. So thank you again for having me here.
You are welcome, and we are happy to have you. So what I'd like to do early on, and I'm not sure if the screens are showing you or me. I can't see myself. I could just see you. But what I want to do before we actually jump into giving these keys away, I want us to, I've already defined who these women are at home. And I want to talk a little bit about leadership and exactly what it is before we actually give the keys away.
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to share a little bit about that. I know we have a textbook definition of it. It's, someone who leads a group or an organization. Yeah. But share with us a little bit of what your idea of leadership is.
Well, it's funny. I'm glad you asked that, because leadership, to me, is not necessarily leading a group of people or an organization. Now, like you said, that's the textbook definition. Leadership to me is defined by how many leaders you develop. And I'm not sure what faith your audience is, but I always use it when I look at the scripture. I look at Christ had 12 disciples. Well, those disciples went on to lead after he was gone. That's leadership. How many leaders did you develop? How many leaders can you take on and put into place? Because a lot of people right now, a lot of people who are entrepreneurs going into business, we are what we call solopreneurs, or as I call it, the COE, not the CEO, the chief of everything. And they try to do everything all by themselves. You're going to have to build a team if you want success. And you're going to have to lead that team. Now, first, leadership has to begin with yourself. You're going to have to know how to lead yourself and to do certain things. Hold yourself accountable. Make sure you do what you're supposed to do. Keep your word. If you say you're going to be there at 10 o'clock, be there at 9:45. Make sure that people see your leadership. And when they see it, they will be willing to follow you. And then they will be willing to follow your example, which in turn leads to you creating other leaders.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I like that. Well, now when it comes to business and leadership, there's a little twist that happens with that. There's so many things that need to get done with business. And when you think about a woman who, we already have so many responsibilities. And when we try to develop our businesses and grow our businesses, you're right. There are things that we have to be committed to ourselves first in order to be able to lead other people. But when we add that element of business to leadership, I'm hearing you say it's all about developing other people to be able to stand in their greatness and stand in their role as a leader. Am I hearing you correctly?
Well, yeah, you have to develop other people because, as you said, women more than any group of people. You're talking about wives, mothers. I mean, you're doing so many different things, and it's hard to do everything by yourself. It can wear you out. It can make it so that you have to in your business, and I've seen it happen too many times. So you want to develop a team. You want to develop other people. Now that doesn't necessarily, and you know this better than anyone, Aisha, it doesn't mean that you have to have employees, because I know a lot of women think, oh my God, how can I afford that? You don't have to have employees, but you can have contractors. You can have people that do different skills that you don't want to do or don't have the time to do, and you can just lead them in the way that you want things done. And as long as you show them how you want things done, and you create them to have some sense of responsibility to where they own that position, and you created another leader. And in doing that, you could have a whole department of your business. And it doesn't have to cost a lot, as you know, as well as anyone.
Okay, cool. So ladies, what I'm hearing is, we have to get clear and committed to ourselves, be able to lead ourselves, be able to do the things that we say we're going to do, and hold that commitment to ourselves, and then be able to lead other people. And with that being said, I love the idea of creating a team. I love the idea of assigning duties and responsibilities to people who can actually help us reach our goals and objectives. And with that being said, we have to, again, and we talked about this yesterday, know who you are, know what your gifts are, know what your contribution is, and be clear about how you're going to deliver it so that you can outsource different responsibilities to help you do that. All right. So let's go ahead and get into these 5 keys. I'm going to let you turn the keys over to me. So I'll let you reveal them as we do them. We're going to do them 1 through 5. I wanted to go backwards 5 through 1, but we're going to do them 1 through 5. So Barrett, why don't you go ahead and share me what the first key is to leadership development for women at home. These are women who are home. Again, they're not in the workforce, so they have to be a little bit unique about how they're going to develop their skills and get out into the world and share their gifts with the world.
Well, you just touched on the first key, is identity. You have to be able to know your identity, and that's the first key.
Okay.
Now, in doing that, you want to trust me. We all struggle with identity, and especially when you're going from not having a business into starting a business. You need to know first who you are, what you want your brand to be, because your brand has to be a reflection of you. So if you don't know who you are, then there's a problem there. You have to understand who you are, what it is you stand for, what it is you do not stand for. That's very, very important. A lot of people compromise themselves going into business because they're chasing the dollar, or they're chasing sometimes fame, and sometimes they just want the notoriety. You have to understand who you are, why you're in business, what you're going for, what your mission, what your brand, what your service is, so that when people see you, they can associate you with who you are, because you have been totally crystal clear with everyone around you as to who you are.
I like that. I like that. That makes sense to me. So the first key is identity. Be clear on who you are, be clear on what you offer, and be clear about what you're going after and what you want. You got to really be clear about that. There are a lot of people who are not sure what they want, and it's easy to get caught up in doing what someone else is doing, thinking you'll get the same results, but everybody has their own unique path. So the first key is to be clear about your identity, what you stand for, what you're willing to stand up for, who you serve. That's very important, in developing these leadership skills. Nice, very nice. Let me see. I'm going to actually, here, I want to share something personal about identity, and I'm trying to think really quickly how I could do that very quickly. Well, I'll say this. Starting my business, I've been in business on my own for about 3 years. Prior to that, I was in network marketing. And this is a perfect example. For me, I had been out of the workforce, actually getting in network marketing. And for me personally, I needed to go through the process of figuring out, what is it that's clawing at me, that's saying there's more for you to do here. And there was some work I needed to do as far as discovering what I wanted to bring forth into the world. And I had a choice to keep doing what I was doing, keep doing what someone else was telling me to do, or to answer to that voice inside of me that kept calling me to do some things that I needed to do for myself before I could show up in the world a little bit brighter and more of a servant to what was in alignment with who I am as a person. So sometimes we're going to have to make those choices. Is this right for me? Does this feel good? Is this adding life to me, or is it draining me? And we really have to, be honest with ourselves and choose the path that's going to serve us and serve our families at the end of the day. I just want to share that I had to make that decision. I'm sure a lot of other women have had to make that decision at one point in time. And don't be afraid to make that decision. Know that you're going to be okay, and learn to trust that voice inside of you that says, I need to do this because this is my path. And yes, there are a lot of blueprints out there. A lot of people saying, hey, if you do this, you can, make this amount of money, or you can get this type of fame, or you can do this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror, and you have to be able to be happy with what your choices are. And what's most important is that genuine who you are, and being able to bring that to everyone else. So Thank you, Mr. Barrett, for our first key, identity. Let's get into the second key. What is the second key to leadership development for women in business at home?
The second key is community. What you are going to have to do is get out of your shell and start associating with people. There is a vast, wide world around you that is waiting for you, waiting for your service. You have colleagues, you have mentors, your role models. You have to basically make sure that you are a part of the community. You cannot be an observer. You have to actually take part in that. I had someone say to me one time, and she actually said it to a group of people, but it resonated with me. And I've since taken it, now I use it. I ask people, and I'll ask all of your audience this: do you feel that what you have to offer in your business is something that the world needs? If you feel that the world needs it, how long are you going to make them wait? Because they need what you have, according to you, but you're making them wait. You have to get out there, let them know you exist, let them know you're there. You've heard this expression before: the wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard, where so many people die with their ideas, their thoughts, their vision. Don't let that be you. Take action, get out into your community, associate with people. Here's the thing, talking about community. Aisha and I met a few months ago, and now we are a part of each other's community because we made it a point to actually interact and take action on this, instead of sitting back and saying, oh, there's Aisha, she's in Georgia, there's Barrett, he's in Maryland. We decided to take our communities and intertwine them to each other. She was on a conference call with me yesterday. Here I am today with her. You have the same people in your circle. You need to do the same thing. Reach out to people. Let them know who you are. Let them know what you have for the world. Let them know who your audience is. You never know what it can bring about. I've made so many relationships grow just from doing that. So if you just take that, reach out, network with people, let them know what you do. Get your millionaire minute down. I'm not saying your 30-second infomercial. Get your millionaire minute down. So when you talk to someone, let them know who you are, why they need you, and that you're here to offer that to them right now because they need you.
Awesome. So key number 2 is community. Community is definitely a place where women who are in business at home can develop themselves, develop their skills, learn, connect. And what we're doing right now, this is my very first time doing a webinar hangout with another person. Yeah, thank you. And I had to be in community in order to do that. And I had to be courageous and ask, for what I want. And this is giving me an opportunity to do something I've never done. And it's giving me an opportunity to, with Barrett. So community is very, very important. And, women who are in business at home can tend to experience isolation because you're at home and you're by yourself. One of the things I tell women all the time who are in business at home, make it a point to get out and network a few times a month. And at the same time, still focus on the things that are important for you to do for your business and not let networking overshadow that. But community is very important. You're going to need a few different types of community. You're going to need a community of mentors. You're going to need a community of people you actually serve. You're going to need a community of colleagues, people who have the same interests and have the same goals that you do, where you can exchange ideas. You can learn from one another. You can collaborate. And you're going to, so you got the mentors, people who actually have done what it is you want to do. You have people that you serve, people you're able to pull up. People you're able to teach things that you've already done and experienced. And you want some colleagues, people who are experiencing the same things that you're doing. You have the same goals and belief. I think it's very, very important when it comes to community to surround yourself with people who have common goals and interests, because being around people who don't have the same common goals and interests as you can stagnate you. It can cause you not to grow or get caught up in things that have nothing to do with you, your business, or moving forward. So be very, intentional about your surroundings and who you surround yourself with, and be intentional about what you're bringing to your community. That's very, very important, and what it is that you need from your community. Be clear about both of those things, all right? So key number 2 is community, and we're gonna move on to key number 3 in the 5 keys of leadership development for women in business at home. What's the third key, Barrett?
All right, I'm excited about this. This is ownership. You have to take ownership. I tell people this all the time when I'm coaching them. Ownership of your business, not just in the technical aspect of having your incorporation documents in order. I mean ownership within you. Own your business, own your role, own your gift, own your talent, own whatever it is that you do, so that when people step to you, they understand that that is yours. No one else has your space. Now, you may sit there and think that, well, you know, someone else does what I do. No, they don't. Nobody does what you do because they are not you. You have to own it because that's you. And I find a lot of, and this goes back to the first one with identity. If you know your identity, then ownership is a natural fit because you're confident in who you are. So you should be confident in what you do and what you have to offer. But you have to take ownership of it so that when someone asks you, you're not talking with your head down. You're talking with your head up, looking them straight in the eye and saying, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I can do for you because I own that space. You need to take ownership, be confident in that. And I know sometimes for some of you, it's a struggle to get to that point, but you have to work at it. Constantly work at understanding who you are, what it is you have to offer, and the value you have to offer. Once you know the value, once you truly know the value, ownership is a no-brainer for you.
I love that. I love that. You mentioned confidence. That is very, very important when it comes to ownership. And for women, I know confidence can be something that needs to be worked on, but confidence is a big one. And I love being around confident people. Sometimes it just rubs up. I start to feel like I can do anything too. But confidence is really, really good. So ladies, if we know or you know you're kind of waning in that area, confidence definitely needs to be something that we make a conscious choice to develop and make sure we're surrounding ourselves with people who are confident and people who encourage us to be confident, and the people who actually see the gifts that we have and encourage those gifts. You want to stay away from people who tend to always point out what's wrong with what you do and what you want to do, and be around people who walk in their confidence. Even when things are not perfect, they're still walking in that confidence. So confidence is very important to ownership. We live in a world now where we all have the opportunity to own who we are. We all have the opportunity to own what we bring to the world and deliver it to the world. We don't have anyone, as one of my mentors would say, the gatekeepers are gone, Mr. Lamar Tyler. There's no one stopping us from doing whatever it is that we want to do other than the way that we think. So build that confidence up and step out and do whatever we need to do, because, you know, ownership does start with owning yourself. It starts with owning who you are, your message, your gifts. You gotta own them. Sometime when we discover our gifts or we're in the process of discovering, it can be a very scary process, because, you know, sometimes we surprise ourselves, and we just have to embrace and know, you know, that's a gift, and it's a blessing, and to stand confident in it, and to just own it. At the end of the day, you just have to own it, because if you cannot own who you are, it's going to be kind of difficult to own a business.
True.
So that's very important. Ownership is very, very important. Thank you for sharing that. So I want you to talk a little bit more about ownership as it relates to owning a business, and really differentiating that, or separating that from someone who is, say, a woman in home who is a network marketer versus a woman who decided, you know, I want to bring forth something that is actually mine, or I want to integrate something that's actually mine with what I have to offer. One of the things that I know is very important when it comes to presenting value to someone else is that you have to have a story sometimes to go along with that. And so when we talk about ownership in relation to really being an owner of your own business, I want you to just give us a little bit more about that part of ownership.
Okay, when you're talking about owning a business, owning something that you created, something that you built, the great thing about that, and you mentioned the story, is that you didn't just start that business because you woke up one day and said, I want to start a business. You started that business because there was a why. There was a why behind that. There was something that triggered inside of you that made you say, I want to go against the grain. I know everyone else is doing the corporate thing. Everyone else is doing the job. You may have been through something hard. You may have had something happen with your child. You may have had something happen with your family, your marriage, your job. You may have had something happen with your health that forced you to go into that role. That's your why. Your why is so important, and it has to be big. You can't have a little why and have a sustaining business. You have to have a big why, because if you have a little why, something will knock you out the box instantly. Because I'm going to tell you, life is going to happen. Life is going to happen. So your ownership is going to come in that big why. If it's a small why, that ownership will dissipate. If you have to have a big why that's going to keep you in business, it's going to sustain you through the hard times, because as I said, they are going to come. If that scares you, get over it. It's going to happen. Aisha goes through it. I go through it. Every business owner goes through hard times. It's part of business, but it beats the alternative. It beats the alternative of working someone else's dream. You have a why inside you. You need to identify that, find that why, work that why, let everyone else know that why. Now, I'm going to tell you, for some of you, it may be difficult for you to talk about your why. It may be something traumatic. It may be something tragic. It may be something that every time you talk about it, you come to tears. But you're working at it. What I want you to do is this. This is very important. Keep telling that story. I don't care if it makes you cry. Keep telling that story until it doesn't make you cry anymore. That doesn't mean you've lost the emotion of it. It just means that you own it at that point. One thing one of my speaker coaches told me one time is that until you can tell your story without crying, the story owns you. You don't own the story yet. Because if I'm telling a story to you and I can't finish it because I'm crying, I haven't conveyed my message to you yet. You don't understand why I'm in business, because I started crying throughout it. So I need to make sure that I can tell it and when I own the story. Once I own the story, I own my identity. I own my why. I own my business. You have to get to that point. And once again, it's not an overnight fix. It's not. It's something you have to work towards. Now, you mentioned earlier those who are in network marketing. I too was in network marketing. Understand, you still have ownership in network marketing. You may not own the concept, the grand scheme of the concept, but you are an independent contractor. You are no different than someone that has a roofing business and they go to the government and sign a contract to work with the government. They still have their roofing business. It's just that they're under a contract working for the government. When you have your contract, you better take ownership of that contract. Too many people I find going to network marketing thinking as an employee. You think as an employee, you will be paid and treated as an employee, and you'll wonder, well, how come my network marketing business isn't successful? It's because you never took ownership. Take ownership of your business in both ways, whether it's traditional business, whether it's network marketing. You have to have your ownership, and in both ways, you have to have a big why.
You're absolutely right, Barrett. Absolutely right about taking ownership. And one of the things I love about network marketing is the personal growth and self-development. They're really big on that. And I think that's the whole objective of why personal growth and self-development is so big in network marketing, because they're teaching or trying to show people how to take ownership. And it starts with taking ownership of you. And so that you can take, again, ownership of that contract that you have so that you can develop that. I love that. I love that. And you're absolutely right. There are a lot of people, you're right. That's why the statistics of network marketing, I think it's a very, very small percentage of people who really, really make the big bucks. It's because they've mastered the art of ownership, owning themselves, owning what they deliver, owning their gifts. And you're absolutely right. We have to develop that if we want to be winners in network marketing, in our own businesses, and whatever it is that we do. You're absolutely right. Ownership is extremely important. And personal growth and self-development tools they're excellent. It's an excellent tool to use to help get there to that path.
If you apply them.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you're not already in that space. So ownership, that is key number 3 to our 5 keys of leadership development for women in business at home. Own it. Own it. And if you are not in a space to own it, use the tools or get the tools that you need to develop that confidence, to develop what you need to be able to own who you are and what you are bringing into the marketplace. All right, so let's get into key number 4. What's key number 4, Barrett?
Key number 4 we're using, we're using right now, technology. Technology, we're using, I mean, think about it. Years ago, we would have never been able to do this, what we're doing right now. So technology is key because it allows you as a business owner to bring in more people that you would have never, ever met before and expose them to what it is you're doing. One of our good friends, Trevor Otts, he had a question one time he asked. He said, what is the biggest commodity in the world? And I want you to try to answer that. What do you think is the biggest commodity in the world?
The biggest commodity in the world, is it time? Time?
You're close. You're close. It's convenience. People will pay for convenience. And you can get a lot of convenience through technology. It's the difference between driving to a hotel to watch a seminar that Aisha Floyd is doing on the 5 keys to leadership development for women at home, or going online in the comfort of your own home and seeing the same thing. That's convenience. People will pay for convenience. An analogy that's used is, let's say you're hungry one night and you have a taste for some macaroni and cheese. And you stop at the grocery store, you get the box of macaroni, you get the cheese, you get the milk, you're ready to go home, and then you go pass by the frozen food section and you see that little red box with macaroni and cheese, and all you have to do is pop it into your microwave and let technology do the work for you. You're hungry. Which one do most people do? They pick up that red box because they know they want to make technology work for them and make things convenient. That's what you have at your fingertips as a business owner. You have convenience. It provides you the leverage to get things in your favor without you having to do all the heavy lifting. Most of the heavy lifting is there. You can get people into your circle. You can communicate your business. You can sell your products through technology sitting at home. You could offer digital services where you've done the work and have someone buy the digital product that actually sells what you do, so they still have a piece of you. And you can do it all over the world. One thing Aisha said on my conference call yesterday that I love this, I'm global. And I love that. We all have the opportunity to be global with our business. You know, it's a great feeling to know that my best-selling book, Why Didn't You Get It Done, has been read in Russia. That's a great feeling. But I haven't been to Russia. Technology allowed me to do that. You have that same opportunity. Take advantage of technology. As you all know, it's changing all the time. But that doesn't mean you can't learn it. My mother is 81 years old. She has an iPhone. She's looking up Google. She's looking up things on Google. She's taking pictures, texting with her phone. She's 81 years old. If she can learn technology, she checks her email every day. She does stuff on Word documents. If she can learn it, you can. You can do it. You just have to take the time and sit down and learn it and get someone to teach you. Go to YouTube. Once again, technology. YouTube has videos to teach you everything in this world. You just have to take the time to learn it. Leverage technology in your favor. Stop letting technology be that big bad beast that's just weighing upon you. you can actually leverage technology to work in your favor. Get the money coming in through you. Isn't it a great feeling, Aisha, to know that you can actually press a button, send something to someone, they can press a button, send you a payment, and it's in your bank, and you don't have to do a thing? Isn't that a great feeling?
Absolutely. I did it yesterday. Absolutely. I saw someone needed help with something I knew how to do. He said how much. I sent him a link. And this is and it's that easy, you guys. Like, really, it's that easy. I'm a huge fan of technology. Now, my mom, she, a long time ago, she actually was in computer consulting when I was a little girl. So technology is definitely an asset. We are blessed to be living in this day and age. It allows us to do some amazing things. And as Barrett mentioned, it allows us to touch lives all across the globe. So there are a lot of people doing some amazing things and making a lot of money by leveraging technology from the comfort of home. And we definitely, as women in business at home, need to take advantage of these opportunities. So technology is an excellent key to be on this list. And that's what I do. I help women position themselves in the online marketplace to help bring their gifts forward and help to attract the opportunities that they may need and be looking for. And also the clientele they might want as well. So technology is a big one. There are some things that women need to understand, though, when it comes to doing business online, that I'm actually, teach. This is what I do. And there are a lot of misconceptions or myths about doing business online that I believe women need to be in the know about. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about what I teach as it relates to technology. So yeah, technology is definitely a valuable key to having your toolbox when you are developing leadership for your business. You want to learn how to leverage the technology that we have access to and that we're blessed to have access to. I'm really excited about that and all the possibilities and all the things that's coming up. 2017 is going to be an amazing year for a lot of people I know because of technology. So awesome. Thank you for that. And Barrett, just why don't you, do you have a story? Well, you just mentioned the one about your book, it being sold in Russia. Do you have another amazing technology story that you want to share with everybody?
Let's see, an amazing technology story. Well, yeah. I did an event, a live event, about a year and a half ago. It was, well, coincidentally, it was called 50 Shades of Wealth. It was a live event where I had different speakers come in and they spoke and we live streamed it. Well, the great thing about it is that it reached, I think, over 1,000 people clicked on the link. About 300 to 400 actually watched the event.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I've never spoken to a live group of 300 to 400 people before, not in person, but guess what? It was still live because of technology. They got to see me live. They got to see the other speakers live. It was something that I had never pulled off before, but it was because of technology that I was able to do that. And it's the same thing for your audience. If you want to put on an event to have people understand what it is that you do, what it is that you have to offer, technology is there for you. It was very simple to set up, and you can do the same thing for yourself.
Awesome. Awesome. I think I was at that event, by the way, but yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So let's move on to key number 5 in the 5 keys of developing leadership for women in business at home. What is the 5th and final key, Barrett?
This one may be the biggest one for business owners, heck, for life period. Consistency. Consistency. We as people in business tend to fly by the seat of our pants sometimes, and then we wonder why things don't work out the way that we want them to. It's because we are not working in any consistent system, any consistent structure. Even our environment isn't consistent. We are not taking advantage of tools that actually can help us be consistent. We're not actually doing the things that help us to keep track of what we're doing, to hold ourselves accountable. And what happens is then we end up falling by the wayside. Our business goes was going up, and then all of a sudden it just flies to the bottom real quick, and we don't know why. It's because we stopped being consistent. One of the things that I teach people is that your activity is the key. It's not the production, it's the activity that creates that production. Whatever you're doing to make those things happen, if you want to lose weight, you have to start working out consistently. You have to start eating consistently at a different way that you were eating before. Once you stop the activity, then the weight changes. So you have to keep the activity going, and keep in mind, just like weight loss, it's not an overnight thing. So you can't just say, oh, I worked out today, I worked out the next day, I worked out the next day, I'm not losing weight. Doesn't work like that. You have to do it consistently over a period of time. If you follow the system, the structure, whatever you have in place, and once again, you have to have something in place. Once you do that, all those things will start happening for you. Your business will start seeing some type of a flow. And that's the great thing about it, is that people that will come into your business will see that there's some organization, there's some structure, there's a way that you do things. Once they see that, then everything will grow. One of the analogies I always use is McDonald's. McDonald's has a system. Everyone who goes into a McDonald's knows certain things. Like, for instance, if you went up to a McDonald's right now, Aisha, and you wanted to buy French fries, if you're at the counter, what side of the French fries on when you look to see if the fries are hot?
On the left.
On the left side. They're always on the left side. Their system is set up that you buy a McDonald's franchise, you have to do things the way they do it. They're not going to let you have one if you say, oh, I want to have my French fries out where people are seated. You can't do that. They don't want it like that. They want it done a certain way. You have to have a certain way that you will stick to in your business, because you have to start thinking that your business may grow. If you're thinking your business may grow, that means other people may be interested in investing in your business. You may want a franchise, you may want to license certain things, which means that you have to have a system in place for people to follow. You have to follow the system first and make it work. Going back again to the identity. You have to know who you are and be able to identify who you are. Then you have to basically transfer that on into your business so that people who see that know that this is the way that you want it run. I have a client right now. She has a cleaning business. And what she is doing now is she's making sure that she's putting herself in position to franchise it now. But what she's doing is putting the systems in place so that everyone who comes in sees the system. If you can't operate the system, then it's not for you. And that's the same thing that everyone here has to do with their business.
Absolutely. Consistency is very, very important. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because in the world that we live in, there are so many distractions, Barrett. And I tell you, those distractions a lot of times will throw people off of their system or what they're supposed to be consistent with. And we have to learn how to block out the distractions and stay focused on what we know that we need to be consistent about in our business, in our lives, in our relationships. You are absolutely is very key to developing those leadership skills and developing your business in the process. Consistency. When you're consistent, growth happens. It doesn't happen any other kind of way. So that's very important. And you mentioned also systems, how we do things. Being consistent with that's important as well. I definitely, over the past 3 years I've been in business, have had situations where I've allowed distractions to interfere with the things that I know that I should have been more consistent about. But you learn and you go through that. And if you are a woman who is in business at home and you know that that's an area that you may have been falling short in, you just get up and you just keep going and you move forward with it. Consistency is so, so very important. Doing the same things the same way each and every time. And thank you. So thank you for sharing that. Consistency is very important. And I tell you, if I hadn't been consistent with doing these webinars the past couple of weeks. I don't know if you would have said yes to coming on with.
Of course, I'll say yes to you. You know that.
Yeah. So consistency is very, very key, ladies, for business, personal lives, and everything, especially our health. You mentioned health. That's very important.
Yeah.
Very important. Mm-hmm. So what I want to do at this point, I'm going to do a quick review. Mr. Barrett shared 5 keys to leadership development for women in business at home. The first one was identity, being clear about who you are, what you represent, your gifts, and how you show up in the world, and what it is that you want to bring forth to the world and the people that you are meant to serve. Identity is so very, very important to being able to show up and being able to shine bright the way that you're supposed to. Key number 2 is community. Community is extremely important. We need other people. We have to be engaged with other people, and that's what we're all here for. We want to make sure you have a community of mentors, people who have done what it is you already want to do, people who are willing to guide you in your process and then teach you. You want to have a community of people who you serve, people who you're able to help, and people who you're able to teach things that you've already done and help them in their process. And you also want to have a community of colleagues, people who are doing what you're doing, and you all are able to exchange, you're able to partner, you're able to support, and you're able to develop as together as you go along. Community is extremely important. When you're in business at home, it can be an isolating experience, and you want to make sure that you are intentional about community relationships and getting out of the house, making sure you go to networking events, but you go with an objective and you're very clear about what you're bringing to the community, and you're clear about what you need from the community as well. But you definitely want to be a giver. Key number 3 to the 5 keys to leadership development is ownership. You gotta own it. You gotta own you. You gotta own your message. You gotta own your story, and you have to own your business. So very important. You gotta own it. Key number 5 is technology, learning to leverage technology and learning to leverage it beyond just social media. I know social media is very, very popular, and people, we're having a great time with it. It's a wonderful convenience. We get to stay connected with our loved ones, our friends. We get to observe. We get to watch. We get to share. And when you're in business, though, you need to have strategy, and you also want to go beyond social media. I teach a lot of the women I work with is that, social media is just one of the paths that we need to be intentional about utilizing, or one of the tools that we need to be intentional about utilizing when we are in business. We need to be able to use several means of communicating with the people that we're here to serve. And social media is just one of those pathways. So we want to go beyond that. We want to enjoy it, but we want to go beyond that. Technology, amazing tool, wonderful tool, and we need to leverage it, but we need to leverage it with strategy. And this brings me to our 5th key, which is consistency. We want to also be consistent with our technology. We want to be consistent with our systems that we are to be implementing in our business. We want to be consistent with our self-care. We want to be consistent in our relationships, and we want to be consistent in everything. All right. So that is a recap of our 5 keys, and I am going to throw it back to you, Barrett. I'm going to let you share some thoughts that you may want to add to that.
Well, one thing that I want to say to people is all of this is great until you take action. Once you take action, it becomes incredible. You can actually change your life, change your business just by taking action on these steps. I am a big proponent of action takers. I love people that will say, I'm going to do something and do it. I am not a fan of the word try. I hate the word try, because when people say try, a lot of times they use that to just push you off. So, and I use this example. If you were broken down on the side of the road, you called your best friend to pick you up, and they said, I'm going to try. You don't feel too confident about that. So it's the same thing when you're doing something, you tell someone, I'm going to try. No, if they say, I'm going to do it, I'll be there to pick you up, then you feel confident. Same thing applies to you in your business. Take action on these things. You know, take ownership. You know, know your identity. Embrace the technology. You know, you want to get into the community network, and you want to stay consistent at it. As long as you stay consistent, it doesn't have to be, you know, something big and lavish. Just stay consistent in an area where you can run your business and be proficient at it. Because you know, the biggest home run hitters in the game, yeah, they hit home runs, but it's okay if the guy hits singles. You know, the guy who hits the singles gets into the Hall of Fame just like the guy that hits the home runs. But because they're consistent. The more consistent you stay at your business, everything else will fall into place. And I want to encourage everyone, find someone to coach you.
Yes.
Find someone to coach you. I have a coach. Aisha has coaches. Our coaches have coaches. So don't think that you are above that, and stop thinking with a poverty mentality saying, I can't afford a coach. Why don't you talk to the coach and find out what you can work out, what they can do for you, how you can serve them and maybe get something in return by serving. Get a coach. It's so imperative that you have someone to work with you. And if I may, Aisha, I have an free offer for your audience, if that's okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I have a free 30-minute productivity coaching session with me. I'm going to give that to everyone in the audience here. All you have to do is text the word coaching to 929-244-4323. Text the word coaching to 929-244-4323. And you're going to get a free 30-minute coaching session with me on productivity for you and your business, because I want to see all of you grow. I want to help all of you be more consistent, but you have to take action on that.
What's that number again? I'm going to type it in. What's that number?
It is 929-244-4323.
4323. Okay. 929-244-432. Oh, cool. Someone typed in already. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Go ahead.
So I give a tagline to everyone when I do my broadcast, and I always tell them, look, don't just settle for being awesome. Set your goal to them all. Take action.
Awesome. I love it. And thank you. You mentioned something about, you know, it not having to be grand, just being where you are. That's another one of the things I love to tell people. Honor where you are in the process. It can get intimidating out here. You have a lot of people doing amazing and grandiose things, and if that's not where you are right now, it's okay. Honor where you are and take action. Like Barrett just said, take action. Those baby steps count just as much as the big steps. And that's something that you hear me say often as well. Sometimes we can only see 2 feet ahead of us. We can't see everything a long way, and it's okay. Just move. Make a move. Thank you, Barrett, for bringing it up. That's so very important. Take action. I don't care how small it is. Take some action. Do. Stop watching so much and start doing. Yeah. So I am going to thank you, Barrett, for that gift. They said they enjoyed you. So thank you very much for that opportunity. And that's how you can stay connected with him. Thank you. I want to thank you for coming on. I'm sure that this gave you some good tips and some good value. And I want to thank you, and thank you, Barrett. Thank you for coming on and sharing all of your wisdom. These 5 key leadership development for women at home are awesome. Key number 1, identity. Key number 2, community. Key number 3, ownership. Key number 4, technology. And key number 5, consistency. Thank you, Steph. Good to see you in here. All right, so we've been going for almost an hour now, Barrett. So we are going to wrap this up. Thank you again, and you are my first. You've been my first.
But I enjoyed being your first. Thank you.
All right, have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.